Thingkho Le Malcha, by KSO Media and Documentation Cell, issue number 65, Wednesday, 15 November, 2023. Headlines: Kuki's body dares to establish a self-governed separate administration from Meiteis over the center's apathy. KNO Defense Secretary laid to rest with full honors. Raburn College conferred autonomous status, KSO, others congratulate. BJP leader's house fired upon by suspected Meitei goons in undisturbed Imphal Valley. Unidentified caller threatens Meitei veteran politician Oh Joy. Meitei-led government authorities still discriminate tribal students. NPUI appeals Declaration of DMMU BA 6th semester exam results. Poppy fields destroyed in Naga inhabited area, Barren government must retrospect. Center trying to silence media, says Kerala CM Pinarayi Vijayan at the releasing function of Manipur FIR. 2 more Myanmarese soldiers cross over to Mizoram. Barren made disaster, muted festivity of Ningalchikuba festival. Mass rally against atrocities on the Kukizo tribals. Thingkho Le Malcha, Relief Center update. Elskism High School Relief Center. Salem Veng, Lamka. Managed by Young Mizo Association, YMA, Chinkan branch. Total inmates registered, 81. Male, 39. Female, 42. Kuki victims update AS on November 10, 2023. Deaths, 150. Villages burnt, 200 plus. Houses burnt, 7,000 plus. Churches and synagogues burnt, 360. Displaced persons, 41,425. Kuki's body dares to establish a self-governed separate administration from Meiteis over the center's apathy. The Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, ITLF, on Wednesday dared the center government that the Kukizo community would be setting up their self-governed separate administration if the government fails to heard their voices they are raising since the alleged ethnic cleansing began on May 3. If our voice is not heard within a couple of weeks, we will create a self-governed separate administration in the regions where Kukizos predominate in Manipur, said Nguyen Tuming, secretary of the ITLF on the sideline of today's rally. It has been over 6 months and nothing has been done regarding our demand for a separate administration from the Manipur government. So if our voice is not heard within a couple of weeks, we will set up our self-government. Irrespective of whether the center recognizes it or not, we will go ahead, Tuming added. He also said, as in a state or a union territory, we will set up a self-government that will look into all matters in the Kukizo areas. We have to do this since our voice has not been heard. Thousands of Kukizo tribal demonstrators held a rally on Wednesday in Lamka, Churachandpur, district headquarters to protest the atrocities against the Kukizo tribal people in the state. Organized by the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, ITLF, demonstrators gathered at Kuvnpui Playground and 2 other points, Pearson Mun and Rinkai, and covered a distance of more than 3 kilometers to converge at the Wall of Remembrance site at Tobong where more than 150 tribal Kukizo killed during the violence are honored. Participating rallyists shouted slogans against the killings of tribal civilians during more than 6 months of violence and demanded for the central investigating agencies to immediately investigate at least 22 cases of murders during the violence. The rally was held to protest the barbaric nature of the majority Meitei mobs in murdering innocent Kukizo civilians. We are also protesting against the cherry-picking of cases by police and central investigating agencies like the CBI and NIA to appease the majority Meitei community at the expense of minority tribals, ITLF wrote in a statement released today. Cases blamed on Kuki-Zo tribals are taken up swiftly and arrests are promptly made, whereas cases involving Kuki-Zo tribal victims are either not taken up or stalled indefinitely, the statement added. KNO Defense Secretary laid to rest with full honors. Defense Secretary of the Kuki National Organization, KNO, Thongsayat Ts Haokip, was laid to rest with full honors at his residence in B. Vangnam, Churachandpur, today. Ts Haokip, who served the KNO, a conglomeration of numerous Kuki UGs under Su with the government as the defense secretary, passed away at New Delhi on November 13 after prolonged illness. The last rites of Ts Haokip was attended by leaders of various CSOs, intellectuals, politicians and leaders of the KNO and UPF. Before the final procession to the burial site, cadres of the KNO paid last their tributes with a traditional gun salute. Born in a nondescript Saloijang village of Chundel district, Manipur, Ts Haokip, in his initial phase of life, had been actively engaging in various social activities, viz., Secretary, KSO Chundel and Secretary, KKL Singat Block, before serving his people as Defense Secretary, KNO. He also plays a pivotal role in the process of arriving at a common goal for KNO-UPF political. Raburn College conferred autonomous status, KSO, others congratulate. Raburn College in Churachandpur was conferred autonomous status by the University Grant Commission, UGC, on November 13, 2023. Dr. Gopi Chand Marugu, Deputy Secret Ray, UGC, Ministry of Education intimated the conferment letter to the Registrar Manipur University on November 13, informing him that the commission at its meeting held on March 11, 2023 has approved the recommendation of Standing Committee on Autonomous Colleges to confer the autonomous status to Raburn College, BSF, Gangpimual, Churachandpur, Manipur 795006 affiliated to Manipur University, VAL for a period of 5 years from the academic year 2024 to 2025 to 2028 to 2029 as per Clause 7.4 of the UGC, Conferment of Autonomous Status upon Colleges and Measures for Maintenance of Standards in Autonomous Colleges, Regulations, 2023. The Deputy Secretary also instructed the Registrar of Manipur University to issue necessary notification within 30 days regarding the grant of autonomous status to the college as per UGC, Conferment of Autonomous Status upon Colleges and Measures for Maintenance of Standards in Autonomous Colleges, Regulations, 2023. In this regard, various student bodies including the Kuki Students' Organization General Headquarters extended heartfelt gratitude to the University Grants Commission for conferring autonomous status upon Raburn College and also congratulated Raburn College for achieving such a prestigious milestone. BJP leader's house fired upon by suspected Meitei goons in undisturbed Imphal Valley. Unknown miscreants suspected to be Meitei goons fired several rounds of bullets at the house of BJP Manipur Pradesh Secretary Kankam Bikram at Nagamapal Soram Lirak, Kwe Lalambung Makhong, under Lamphel Police Station, Imphal West yesterday night. Strongly condemning the incident, people of the locality held a sit-in protest today. According to family members of the state BJP leader, the incident happened at around 10:18 p.m. yesterday. Unknown persons in a red car fired several rounds of bullets and fled the area, said Konkamong Baigita. While no one was hurt, the firing damaged the residential gate, a car, and parts of the house. At the sit-in staged at Kwe Lalambung Makhong Pukria Chuba today, the locals condemned the incident in the strongest terms and said it has caused fierce psychosis among the people. Views of TLM, only a month ago the said area was declared as undisturbed by the Meitei government fearing that if declared disturbed the Indian Army would come to the area and take proper care of law and order, which unfortunately the Meitei police have been unable to. It is under the same police jurisdiction where Minister Namcha Kipchan's quarter was set on fire by Meitei mobs, in which the Meitei police has been, so far, afraid to call out the particular community because it is scared. Unidentified caller threatens Meitei veteran politician O Joy. Veteran politician and former minister Okram Joy has been reportedly threatened to keep silent by some unidentified persons. Following the incident, O Joy lodged a complaint to the Chief Secretary and the Director General of Police today. Unfortunately, during these couple of days since November 2, 2023 onwards I had been threatened by some unidentified persons in a video call via Facebook giving the signal with the hands to keep silent and not to speak on my Facebook account, the veteran politician said in his complaint letter. Joy said that the unidentified person continued to make video calls even after he hung up the video call and asked them to send message instead. In spite of the message, it continued and I blocked the said unidentified account, the complaint letter added, which was enclosed with the chat history of O Joy with the unidentified person. He then appealed to the Chief Secretary and the DGP to take up appropriate action and investigate the matter at an early date. It is reported that due to threats in the past, Joy is already being provided security staff come house guard by the government for his personal safety. Meitei-led government authorities still discriminate tribal students, NPUI appeals Declaration of DMMU BA 6th semester exam results. The government of Manipur and concerned authorities continued to neglect the welfare of the tribal student communities by withholding the results of BA 6th semester examination 2023 for the Hill districts. It was reported that the results of students who appeared for the exam in the Hill districts have not been announced till date, while the results for Valley students of DM University have been declared. In this regard, the Naga People's Union, Imphal, NPUI, has appealed for immediate Declaration of DMMU, DM, University's BA 6th semester exam 2023 which was conducted in July of this year. In a representation submitted to Chief Minister N. Biren Singh, M. Garami, President, NPUI, conveyed that owing to the ongoing conflict, DM University had allowed its students to write the BA 6th semester exam 2023 in their own districts. Subsequently, students from Chundel district and other Hill districts wrote the said exam at the district headquarters. However, the results of students who appeared for the exam in the Hill districts have not been announced till date, while the results for Valley students of DM University have been declared, said the NPUI statement, enumerating the difficulties faced by the Hill students. NPUI asserted that some of the students have been conditionally admitted in institutions even outside the state, and end semester exams are set to be held in December, but as the students were admitted without a mark sheet, migration certificate and other related certificates, they will not be allowed to write the exams and their admissions will likely be cancelled, claimed NPUI. It further added that tribal students had reported that till November 7 the unevaluated answer scripts were lying in the examination hall of the university as they had not yet been distributed to the evaluators even after 3.5 long months highlighting the suffering of the students from the hill districts, NPUI has appealed to the chief minister to take immediate action in public interest. Poppy fields destroyed in Naga inhabited area, Raburn government must retrospect. A joint force of police, Forest Department and Manipur Rifles on Wednesday carried out a poppy destruction drive at Tora Champhung Hill Range in Ukhrul, a Thingkho Naga-dominated district. About 16 hectares of illicit poppy fields were reportedly destroyed, 20 huts burned, and other infrastructures such as pipeline connection, fertilizers, salt, herbicides, pesticides, etc. were destroyed as well. The poppy destruction drive was carried out for 2 days now in Phali Champhung Changta Tora Hill ranges by spraying herbicides as per the state government's intensifying war on drugs campaign. Chief Minister N. Biren Singh promised that the government would not stop until the drugs menace is completely rooted out from the state. I appreciate the update on the joint efforts to combat illegal poppy cultivation in Phali Champhung Changta Tora Hill ranges by Ukhrul Police, 6MR, and the Forest Department. The commitment to continuing the destruction drive until the illegal practices are eradicated reflects a strong stance against such activities. Destruction drive will continue in the coming days till this illegal practice is completely wiped out, Biren said in his social media platform. The poppy cultivation in Ukhrul, a Naga-inhabited area, validates the Kizo people's assertion that most of the hill areas are used for the plantation irrespective of communities involved. It is a proof that the issue of poppy plantation was not confined only to the Kukis in the state. If Biren Singh's government is really interested in solving the drug menace, he would have employed a more amicable approach to reach a solution, rather than trying to wipe out an ethnic group. The root cause of the issue should have been addressed, that is, the large-scale finance/investment similar to Hawala transaction. During the ongoing ethnic conflict, there were widespread allegations on the Kizo community as drug peddlers. Countless were killed due to this fake narrative, whereas the figures reveal a different story altogether. Although some people of the Kizo community have been known to cultivate opium for a long period of time, the opioid-based drug business in Manipur is just 30% of the entire syndicate. Then, what about the rest 70%? There is another aspect to it. Per the data revealed by the government of Manipur, a total of 2,518 people were arrested between 2017 and 2023 under Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances (NDPS) Act. Out of which, a whopping 1,464, more than 58%, were Métis, 1083 Métis Pangals and 381 Métis, 873 were Kizo, 35%, and 181, 7%, were from other communities. This data puts the majority Métis community, Métis plus Métis Pangal, itself under question. A large number of chemical drug factories were busted in Lilong and Sora, the areas dominated by Métis Pangals, in the past, and huge recoveries were made. The way drug business has increased manifold in the border state in last few years, there is a high possibility that Thaunajam Brinda is right. However, if the central government is really serious about cracking down the drug business in Manipur, they need to target the organized cartels first. Moreover, in this latest effort there was no attempt on the part of Biren or Kokomi to malign a specific community as narco-terrorists, which they would have easily done so if the area had belonged to the Kizo. Center trying to silence media, says Kerala CM Pinarayi Vijayan at the releasing function of Manipur FIR. There has been a deliberate attempt by the central government to silence the media, and this should be resisted at all costs, according to Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. Speaking after releasing Manipur FIR, a book by veteran journalist George Kalavalil in Kochi on Sunday, the Chief Minister said that the book comes out at a time when a large section of the media came out with a watered-down version of the clashes in Manipur. The violence in Manipur began in May, and the reports indicate that the violence continues even now, Pinarayi said. Pointing out that the Prime Minister did not utter a word about Manipur clashes for 80 days, Pinarayi said that several leaders of opposition parties went to the northeastern state, interacted with the people there, and stood with them after the violence erupted. Pinarayi said that 200 people were killed and over 1,000 injured in the Manipur violence. Around 5,000 houses were also gutted, he said. Senior Congress leader Ramesh Channithala, who received the first copy of the book, said it's sad to see that the beautiful state of Manipur is being wrecked by violence, which is the result of hatred that was injected into the communities by the BJP. He said 150 churches have been destroyed in the ongoing clashes. The book is published by Azamukam Books. Industries Minister P. Rajiv, Kerala Government's Special Envoy to Delhi K. V. Thomas, Mayor M. Anil Kumar, MPs Hibi Eden, A. M. Arif, and Thomas Chizikadan, MLAs T. J. Vinod, Anwar Sadath, and Roji M. John, former MLA K. C. Joseph, former MP Francis George, and former diplomat, Venu Rajamoni, attended the function. While George Kalavalil welcomed the gathering, Azamukam Books editorial board member Sudhir Nath N. proposed the vote of thanks. Source: The New Indian Express. 2 more Myanmarese soldiers cross over to Mizoram. 2 more Myanmarese soldiers crossed over to Mizoram after militia group People's Defence Force overran their camp in the neighbouring country's Chin state, a police officer said on Wednesday. With these, a total of 45 Myanmarese soldiers have fled to Mizoram, the police officer said. The soldiers were handed over to the Assam Rifles as per the center's directive, and all of them have been airlifted to a safer place by Indian defense authorities, the police officer told PTI on condition of anonymity. He said that in the first place, 39 Myanmarese soldiers entered Mizoram and came to the nearest police station at Zokothar, a border village in East Mizoram's Champhai district, on Monday evening. Barren made disaster, muted festivity of Ningal Chakuba festival. For the first time in the long history of Meitei's Kangli Pak, Ningal Chakuba, one of the largest festival in Manipur, has been totally muted today under the double-engine BJP governments at the center and state. Meitei married women or mothers, instead of happily going to their paternal families for feast, were made to experience a distressing situation. This has happened due to the prolonged communal riot in the state under the incompetent leadership of N. Biren Singh, the chief architect of the violence and the main abettor to the escalating tension between the majority Meitei and minority Kukis in the wake of state-sponsored ethnic cleansing pogrom. He should be held responsible for his failure in creating an environment impossible for celebrating the women's joyous festival. Ironically, Biren Singh has extended his greetings to the people, especially the womenfolk, on the auspicious occasion of Ningal Chakuba by asserting that it was time for the people to restore old ties and strengthen bonds. Ningal Chakuba celebrates the unbreakable bond of love between brothers and sisters. It promotes the feeling of harmonious social life by indulging in sharing of gifts and blessings, Biren said in his message. Ningal Chakuba is one of the popularly celebrated festivals in the state, which falls on the second lunar day of the Meitei calendar's Hyangji month, November 15th. Ningal means married woman and Chakuba means invitation for feast, so the festival is the one where the married women are invited to their parents' home for a feast. It is celebrated in the theme of strengthening the bond of love between married Ningal, Meitei four ladies, and their paternal families. Silencing the festivities of the year is nothing but a disaster made by N. Biren Singh and his political cohorts out of prejudice, hate-mongering, and his narcissistic personality disorder. He has blood in his hands and must be held accountable for all the bloodbath and destructions unfolding in the state. For more than 6 months, the people have witnessed a great human tragedy unfolding in Manipur. The unprecedented violence that has devastated the lives of people in the state and uprooted thousands has left a deep wound in the conscience of the nation. With thousands of people from both communities internally displaced and hundreds of loved ones losing their lives, the people have no option but to stay away from celebrating festivals like Diwali, Ningal Chakuba, or even Christmas next month. Manipur has become a state like Myanmar, which is under military junta or a Second World War era under Adolf Hitler's dictatorial leadership, thereby witnessing communal violence, hatred, enmity, lawlessness, disharmony and bloodbath. What is the government doing behind closed doors in this time of war and distress in the state? Will they be accountable and responsible for the lives lost, people injured and thousands displaced and rendered homeless? Do the innocent common people have to pay the price of some incompetent, communal, irresponsible, unaccountable and unprofessional leader? Mass rally against atrocities on the Kizo tribals. We demand investigations into the atrocities against the Kizo tribals. Organized by Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, ITLF. General information. Date, November 15, 2023, Wednesday. November 15, 2023, the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, ITLF, today organized a mass rally against atrocities on Kizo tribals in Lamka district. Today's rally is being held to protest the barbaric ways in which innocent Kizo civilians are murdered by Meitei mobs. We are also protesting the cherry-picking of cases by police and central investigating agencies like the CBI and NIA to appease the majority Meitei community at the expense of minority tribals, while cases blamed on Kizo tribals are swiftly taken up and arrests promptly made. Cases involving tribal victims are either not taken up or are stalled indefinitely. ITLF and the entire Kizo community demand that the CBI immediately investigate or fast-track the following cases. David Thik, the resident of Langza village, was caught by an invading Meitei mob and brutally murdered on July 2. His limbs and neck were hacked with machetes and his decapitated head was displayed on a bamboo fence. Assailants posted on social media a photo of one of them carrying David's severed head. One of the perpetrators also posted a Facebook video of David being captured. The Facebook account holder is clearly visible, including his name and face, BZ Now Singh. This should be the easiest of cases for the CBI to solve. Viral video case: 2 Kizo women were groped and paraded naked and one of them was gang-raped on May 4. The victims say the police handed them over to a Meitei mob which had attacked the victim's village. The mob also killed 2 men who were with the women. A viral video of the incident clearly shows the perpetrators. 7 men were allegedly arrested, but further progress in the case was halted after protests by Mira Pybus. What about the rest of the mob? Olivia Shangloy and Florence Hangsing, 2 young women who worked at Gama car wash at Kanang Mamang Impul, were locked in a room by a mob including Mira Pybus. Young men entered the room and proceeded to torture them. A news report said the victims' co-workers could hear their screams and pleas for 2 hours. When the room was opened, it was filled with the blood and hair of the victims, who were now dead. Burning of ambulance. On June 4, 7-year-old Tunzing Hangxing, his mother and aunt, were on their way to RIMS hospital in an ambulance. A mob led by Mira Pibus blocked the vehicle and set fire to it, killing all three. First victim of Manipur violence, Pastor Seka Haokip Jen was returning to Fughako Ikai after participating in the May 3 Tribal Solidarity March. As he reached home, a Meitei mob descended on his village and brutally beat him to death. The video of him being assaulted was shared on social media by the perpetrators. MLA Vungzajan Vault and his driver Thingkho Le Malcha, a senior tribal legislator, was returning home after a meeting with CM Biren Singh on May 4 when he was waylaid by a mob. The MLA and his driver were taken to an empty hall, where they were brutally assaulted with iron rods and given electric shocks. The driver succumbed to his injuries after 2 days, while Vault survived. Guzabung, Gulilsang and Nancy Chingthianiang, Mrs. Guzabung was an undersecretary in the state government. On May 4, she and her family tried to take refuge at a nearby CRPF camp. A mob stopped their car and brutally murdered Guzabung and her son, Gulilsang. Her daughter-in-law Nancy Chingthianiang sustained severe head injuries and fractured wrists and fingers. 8. Hanglao Muan Vaifiai, the 21-year-old resident of Zomi Bethel village was arrested for his Facebook post about the chief minister on April 30. On May 4, as he was being escorted from court to Sajiwa jail, a mob stopped the police vehicle carrying him and beat him to death. 9. Dongaking, the mentally ill Kukizo woman was shot dead by Meitei militants on July 6. Her lifeless body was left unattended for hours on the road. Meitei propagandists tried to justify the killing by labeling her as a suicide bomber. 10. The three Shangloy ladies. On May 4, a mob entered the home of 86-year-old Vainam Shangloy in Impal West and bludgeoned her to death. Her 2 daughters, Helam and Hoikim, were also tortured and killed with sharp weapons. 11. Thyandam Vaifiai, the 45-year-old widow was butchered at her home in Phaitang village, with her head, hands, and legs chopped off and her body set ablaze along with her house on May 6. 12. Agnes Nikhote, the nursing student was brutally assaulted on the evening of May 4 at Nightingale Nursing Institute, Impal, by a Meitei mob. Agnes lost 3 of her front teeth from the beating she received. She was left for dead after she fell unconscious. 13. Domkahoy, Arambai Tangle militants, disguised as IRB personnel, entered Kokan village on June 10 and shot dead Domkahoy, who was praying inside the village church. Meitei propagandists justify the killing by labeling her as a sniper. 14. Thangtinlan Kongsai, Thangtinlan escaped from Restorer Home, Impal, a dead diction center, along with his friends when violence broke out. He was captured and brutally murdered by Meitei miscreants on June 14. A video showing him being tortured and shot dead was released on social media by the perpetrators of the crime. 15. David Hrankel, he was mercilessly dragged out from his home at Chajing, Kanchapur, on May 4 by Arambai Tangle and tortured to death. 16. 5 civilians abducted. Mongluan Haokip, Nankim, Nilam, John Thangjalam Haokip and Jamkathang were traveling towards Phaijiang village when they were captured by a Meitei mob and handed over to Arambai Tangle. A severely injured Mongluan Haokip was rescued by CRPF personnel. The rest are presumed dead. 17. Attack on 3 construction workers. Palalmuan, David and Lunjanlal were dragged out from their workplace at Kwatha Lirak, Impal by a mob and were brutally assaulted on the road. Only David survived. 18. Letmanthang Haokip, the tax assistant was attacked by an armed Meitei mob on May 4 at his Sangapur residential quarter. He was bludgeoned to death and his body burnt. 19. Naimanlun Haokip, on May 3, Naimanlun from Lunkajang village was tortured and burnt alive by Meitei miscreants. 20. Henlalsiam Gungate, he was burnt alive on May 4 at his National Game village residence by a Meitei mob. 21. Hayaminlan Shangloy, he was forcibly dragged down from an army vehicle by a Meitei mob on May 4 and beaten to death. 22. Jankapeo Haokip, he was tortured at his home by a Meitei mob led by Arambai Tangle and was burnt alive. This list is not exhaustive. Many more innocent Kukizo civilians were brutally murdered by Meitei mobs, Arambai Tangle and Meitei Lipun, because of their ethnicity. The central government should acknowledge the situation for what it is, an ethnic cleansing of minorities by the majority.